Last year, Griselda Records leader and creative visionary Westside Gunn ended off his iconic HWH series with the epic two-part finale that was Side A and Side B of the acclaimed series' eighth installment. With features from names like Tyler the Creator, Lil Wayne, Jay Electronica, Benny the Butcher, and Conway the Machine to name a few, and production from Madlib, The Alchemist, and the rest of Griselda's usual collaborators, what West hyped up to be the finale of his career-defining record series lived up to all expectations and left us ready to see the next chapter in the MC's career. After hyping up his newest project, Michelle Records, to be his biggest and best ever, West canceled it out of nowhere and instead announced that we would be getting the 10th and final installment of the HWH series. While this was a welcome surprise, what I wondered is if West would be able to deliver an experience that left fans as blown away as the last. While shorter in track size and length compared to HWH Side B, or I guess the 9th installment is what West refers to it now as, he manages to pack even more star power into this record with legends like Wu-Tang Clan's RZA, Ghostface Killah and Raekwon, Mos Def and Talib Kweli, also known as Black Star, ASAP Rocky, Run the Jewels, and many more who are part of the long list of collaborators on this project. As many Griselda records in the past have, we see an appearance from narrator A.A. Rashad, who kicks things off on the intro track. Over an epic score which consists of a loop vocal sample and some subtle instrumental kicks, RZA's production gives the 3.5-minute opener the perfect backdrop for Rashad's words to resonate into your soul. His words serve as the prelude to the record we're about to engulf in, while simultaneously being a celebration of what Westside Gunn and the entire Griselda movement have accomplished as a whole. My favorite lines from this monologue come from when Rashad says, "I want you to exercise the task of feeling enlightened and use what you perceive and what you are discerning as a guide for you to improve the quality of your life." These words build a bridge into what the functionality of this album is supposed to do for us, the listener. What Westside is doing in his music is giving us art that in any shape or form, the goal is to better those listening to it in any way it can. And reaffirming this idea before jumping into such a massive experience reminds you why we're listening to Westside Gunn in the first place. This is one of the best spoken word tracks to appear on a Westside Gunn album, and I truly love everything this moment stands for. The stakes of this record continue to rise on the second track, Fly God Jr., as opening up this cut, we have none other than the legendary DJ Drama hyping up Westside Gunn's grand entry, and once the beat drops, we are surprised to hear West rapping over a trap beat. Now, on first listen, I laughed at this track, but the more I've sat down with this cut, I think it works super well, and for whatever reason, Westside's unfazed flow and soft delivery work quite well with the bouncing trap beat on this cut. Appearing alongside Wes and DJ Drama, we see Doughboy on this record, where he delivers a solid verse that further encapsulates this rags to riches I made it narrative that the song is pushing. While this song certainly feels less hinged than most of what Westside does on both this record and in his catalog as a whole, it works pretty well and it makes this song feel super solid even on a record where on paper, this does not belong here in any way whatsoever. Produced by Conductor Williams, the Abstract Super Kick Party is classic Griselda greatness and one of Westside Gunn's best showings on the entire project. For 2 entire minutes, Westside goes on an absolute barfest where he really allows himself to shine to the fullest extent, which is rare at this point in his career. Topically, Westside is doing nothing new here, he's just flexing, dropping knowledge, and moving above the competition, but all of this works so well as a result of Westside Gunn's addicting rapping style, choice of rambunctious words, and of course, his one-of-a-kind beat selection, which Conductor Williams has a lot of production credits on this album, and he does not have one single bad instrumental. Conductor Williams is really one of the best producers in hip-hop right now, and this record is a living display of that. Teaming up with ASAP Rocky, Shootouts in Soho is another one of Westside Gunn's collabs that show just how important he is to the current state of hip-hop. Over a calm but muddy Diddy LaFleur beat, we finally get the long-awaited collaboration between Westside Gunn and ASAP Rocky, where the two both deliver great performances, and hearing Rocky on a Griselda track was just such a moment in itself. Rocky opens his verse up using the same distorted vocals he has throughout his career, and from this defining intro to his full verse, which shows him matching the braggadocious subject matter of West with even more flashy remarks, this is one of the best moments that we've seen in Griselda's history. This track would be perfect if things ended after Rocky's verse, but where this track gets rough for me is with Stove God Cooks' feature, which I feel undercuts the moment we just witnessed. From Stove's flow to his actual lyricism on this track, which sounds super dumbed down and nothing like his usual level of quality, this entire verse and feature just feels so disjointed and so disappointing, and while it doesn't ruin the entire moment, it certainly adds a weight on its foot. Fortunately, any doubts that this track brings upon are forgotten about on the dreamlike Peppas. From the echoing vocal sample to Yassine Bey's iconic whistle which eases us into his verse, the sonic world building on this cut is amazing, and getting the moment of Mos Def just letting his skills flow freely on a Griselda track, it's a musical blessing that I really could have never dreamed of. Joining Yassine Bey is his Black Star running mate Talib Kweli, who delivers a great verse filled with powerful messaging, yet still with the desire to assert and dominate over the competition. Closing out the track, Westside drops another amazing verse, and what this moment shows me is that the better the rappers, the harder West comes out as he really goes in on this beat. From the hunger to the duration of this verse, West gives Mos and Kweli a real run for their money, which is insane and one of the reasons why this is one of the best collaborations of the entire year. Already at the halfway point of the record, Nigo Louis features a dark and intoxicating instrumental, and this track feels like an interlude with its appearance from Wes's daughter, Westside Pootie, who just flexes on us once again, and I swear, Westside Gunn is the only person on this planet who can make their daughter hop in the booth and flex on us and have it just sound amazing. It is ridiculous. Beyond this, West delivers a little verse on the back end of the track, which is just alright, and from here, we go to track 7, BDP, which teams Westside Gunn up with the future of Griselda in Rome Streets and Stove God Cooks. Now, this trio has done a lot already together, and this is just another solid showing of their chemistry and skills over a nice beat from Conductor Williams. Following this moment, we get one of the most star-studded tracks of the decade so far with Science Class. Teaming West up with Busta Rhymes, Raekwon, Ghostface Killah, and Stove God Cooks all over Swizz Beatz production is a recipe for a classic Posse cut, and from the tame yet commanding instrumental to the lyrical canvases each rapper paints when they step up to the plate, the dynamic that plays between each MC is just so exciting, especially when bouncing between Raekwon and Ghostface Killah's parts, which hearing them in this larger conglomerate is a true full circle moment. While being one of the weaker tracks on the record overall, God Is Love is another solid moment, this time teaming up West and Stove God with Eastnak over another hypnotizing Conductor Williams beat. In this 5-minute track, there is a lot going on with Eastnak and Stove God trading verses just like they did on West's last record, Peace Fly God. In the middle of this over 5-minute long track, there is a short monologue from Keisha Plum where she does what she's great at, capturing the moment and heightening the stakes of the track. In the song's final 2 minutes, we get a freestyle from Buffalo local Eastside Flip, where he does spit some nice bars, but this is clearly recorded off an iPhone, and it serves as another disjointing factor to this project. Even though this moment is odd from a musical perspective, I do love what West is doing by putting an ordinary person from where he's from in this raw and uncut form on the project. At the end of the day, a lot of what Westside has done has always been about repping where you're from and putting others on, so while I think this waters down the quality of the record, I can't blame him for doing this, although I think it would have been a lot cooler if he just invited Eastside Flip to the booth and had him record the same freestyle with quality equipment to match the style of a record this magnitude. Featuring LP and Killer Mike of Run the Jewels, Switches on Everything is another one of the most anticipated collaborations of the year, and with the warm horn-infused beat done by Mike Shab, we are in a sonic texture that feels really upper echelon, and LP's verse kicks this track off, and we really witness genuine hip-hop history. Just as special as it was to hear Mos Def and A$AP Rocky on this record, hearing LP on a Griselda track where he drops memorable one-liners, along with telling everybody that he is a Griselda fan, it's just a moment that's surreal. Just like most Run the Jewels performances, the show is stolen by Killer Mike, where between his barreling flow and verse which shows him being rawer than ever, it's awesome to see these legendary MCs fit perfectly into the Griselda environment. My only gripe with this track is that Westside just delivers a hook, and despite it being super catchy, it leaves things feeling a little dull from his side, as hearing a full verse from him would have made this amazing. And on top of this problem, we get another verse from Stove God Cooks, which is solid, but I just don't really know how I feel about the excessive Stove God Cooks placements on these records. Don't get me wrong, I think Stove God is a very talented MC, and he has done a lot of good things in his career, but in all honesty, I feel it's premature to pigeonhole steamroll him into these tracks with Rocky, Run the Jewels, Busta Rhymes, Ghostface Killah, and Raekwon. As outside of Science Class, his verses hit under his usual mark in my eyes. Produced by the legendary Pete Rock, Mac Don't Stop is another highlight due to its jazzy yet abstractly rounded out instrumental, and what I appreciate about this moment is that it allows you to breathe after all of these feature-filled moments. I think when Westside Gunn the rapper shines best is when he is in these solo environments, and hearing him just have an entire track to play around in is great after every other song on this record besides one always has him playing a back roll to his guests. Closing the record and the HWH series out as a whole, we have the 10-minute long mega cut of Red Death. With a total of 8 verses and production from The Alchemist along with narration from DJ Drama, this track is the ultimate curtain call for the Griselda movement. Benny the Butcher opens the track up with a hard-hitting verse filled with braggadocious references about both his wealth and what Griselda has done for hip-hop. Following this strong opening, Westside spits a quick verse which opens the track into performances from the future of Griselda in Stove God Cooks, Rome Streets, Armani Caesar, and Jay Worthy. Now, while I wish West gave us more of a performance on this cut, I do love the sequencing of these verses as we get constant action from the new signees of Griselda, who West is backing to become the next big names in hip-hop. After all of Westside Gunn's new proteges get the chance to shine, the man who has been alongside him since day one, Conway the Machine, gets the last verse of the entire series, and man, this one is special. The track's dark instrumental fits Conway the best out of all the MCs who make an appearance, and Machine really does deliver arguably the best verse on the entire album in this moment. There are so many classic Conway quotables here, and hearing him deliver the final verse of this cut, which is of course filled with bars alluding to both his and Griselda's success and dominance, is amazing. Between all of the lyrical showings, the background vocals and bridge, and the very final words spoken from DJ Drama, this is truly a one-of-a-kind moment and an amazing way to close out one of, if not the greatest record series to ever be recorded. Overall, the only thing I could have asked for more out of from Red Death would be verses from Mock Hami and Boldy James to truly celebrate all of the staples of Griselda over the years, but as a whole, 10 does an amazing job at celebrating the legacy of this immaculate series, Westside Gunn, Griselda, and hip-hop as a whole. Westside Gunn once again shows why he is one of the greatest curators of all time through his knack for collaborating and through his unmatched ear for beats. Still, even with all of this talent on display, the record does feel as if it was rushed in some regards, which is reflected in the clunky structure of the album and some of the awkward skeletons of the songs. Although there are some cracks in this 52-minute experience, it is loaded to the brim with great moments that you will not find anywhere else, and this is why it's another memorable addition to the Griselda library. Before we get into my score of the album, I will be ranking the track list, which at number 12 we have Intro, at 11 we have Nigo Louis, at 10 we have God Is Love, at 9 we have BDP, at 8 we have Fly God Jr., at 7 we have Mac Don't Stop, at 6 we have Shootouts in Soho, at 5 we have Switches on Everything, at 4 we have Red Death, at 3 we have Peppas, at 2 we have Super Kick Party, and at 1 we have Science Class. Now, for all of these reasons, I will be giving Westside Gunn's 10 a 7.3 out of 10. Do you agree with my score? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell as we got a lot more album reviews, hip-hop stories, and new series is coming very soon. Check out episode 1 of my new series, The Show That Will Change Hip-Hop, if you have not already, and thank you all for watching this video. Mr. Fantastic, Fantastic Hip-Hop, signing out. Have a great day.